Speedweek joins the entire world racing community in mourning the death of NASCAR founder Bill France, who died earlier this week at the age of 82. Tonight on Speedweek, we're on location in Montreal, Quebec, the site of the 1992 Grand Prix of Canada. We'll talk to the driver who has dominated the Formula One season so far and have an exclusive interview with former Formula One champion Nelson Piquet on the mend from his injuries at Indianapolis about his future plans.
And wait for me because I've been back.
You are looking at the skyline of one of the most modern and picturesque cities in all of the world, Montreal, Quebec. But it's contrasted with the old Montreal with its cobblestone streets and a taste of the past. We're on the Isle of Notre Dame, a man-made island on which Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is located. That will be the site of tomorrow's 7th Formula One race of 1992, the Grand Prix of Canada. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Canada. And it's a Speedweek first, the first time we've ever originated our program from outside of the United States. We're excited about tomorrow's Grand Prix of Canada. It will be on ESPN, tape delayed at midnight Eastern Time tomorrow night. That's 9 o'clock on the West Coast. Now, in this next half hour, we'll deal specifically with this Grand Prix of Canada, but also look at some of the other stories in the world of motorsports. The 1992 Grand Prix season can best be described in one word: Mansell. Nigel Mansell has won all but one race on the Formula One circuit this year. I'm sure he's glad he did not retire, as he said he was going to, after the 1990 British Grand Prix. In that race in his home country, Mansell sat on the pole, led for a while, but dropped out with gearbox failure. Afterwards, he made a startling announcement.
I'm announcing my retirement today.
Frank Williams, however, lured Mansell back to drive one of his Williams Renaults in 1991. Mansell won 5 events last year and finished second in points to Senna. 1992 has been a different story. In the season opener in Kyalami, South Africa, Mansell in his new FW14B grabbed the pole and held on to win, with teammate Ricardo Patrese finishing second. The finish was the same in the next 2 races in Mexico and Brazil. Nigel's stranglehold on the series appeared to be weakening with this bend in practice in Spain. But the race was a different story. He made it through the pouring rain to finish first again for the 4th time of the season. His streak continued in Italy despite muscle cramps and spasms, but ended in Monaco when Senna beat him in the closest Formula One victory in 6 years. And we're very pleased to have with us the driver who is currently leading the World Championship points, Nigel Mansell. Thanks for stopping by, and we welcome you to Canada.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. It's good the sun is shining for a change.
This season has been outstanding for you. Is this the most fun you've ever had in racing?
Partly. I mean, people think it's easy when you're winning, but it's in point of fact more difficult. It's harder. There's a lot more pressure, and obviously what happened to us in Monte Carlo was a big kick up the backside because we had everything under control, but it just goes to show what things can happen in motor racing.
I don't like to talk about negative things so early, but last year here in Canada had to be one of the biggest disappointments of your career.
Didn't take him long, did it? I mean, hell's bells. No, in Canada, what I'd like to say is exactly what did happen. A computer shut down and it just stopped the car. It's as simple as that, and our car is basically semi-automatic, and unfortunately, we lost all the gears, and all we do is press a button on the back of the steering wheel, and if it doesn't change gear or get in a gear, then I'm afraid we just coast to a halt, and that's exactly what happened.
What's been the difference between last year and this year?
Well, basically, we've had reliability. We've done a lot of hard work over the winter. Renault have done a fantastic job with the engine. We've got probably at least 50 more horsepower from the engine, and the L Fuel Company have done probably something like about 60 different blends of fuel. And we've probably got about another 20 horsepower from the fuel than what we had from last year. And then the team has done an outstanding job with the active suspension and the engineering, and I mean, touch wood, the reliability of the car.
Well, Nelson Piquet won that race here in Canada last year. It will be his last Formula One win. He was injured, of course, at Indianapolis this year. Nigel, if you can stay with us, I'd like to talk to you about Nelson's accident in just a moment. We have the first national television interview with Nelson. That when we come back with more of Speedweek from Montreal.
Speedweek is brought to you by Pennzoil, America's #1 selling motor oil for performance, protection, and quality. And by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinkin' Busch Light.
As an engine builder, I recommend for longer engine life, change your oil between 2,000 and 3,000 miles. The second thing, make sure you use Pennzoil because Pennzoil will protect. I feel like changing oil and keeping good and clean oil in your car is probably the most important things on the vehicles today. I use it for myself, I use it for all my family cars, and I definitely would recommend it for anybody to use Pennzoil, yes. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality, that says it all.
What makes a mountain man a mountain man? Let's find out. Must a mountain man be a big burly guy with an axe? A man of steel? Must a mountain man even be a man? Actually, the only requirement is the right beer. Smooth Busch Beer or easy drinking Busch Light. So, head for the mountains and learn what makes the typical mountain man anything but.
At GMC Truck, our only business is trucks. That has been for over 80 years. A dedication to truck strengths and values to keep in mind. Because when you need to haul something, tow something, carry precious cargo, find new trails, or simply ride high and proud, there's nothing quite as strong as a truck. GMC Truck, the strength of experience.
Over 1 million people each week walk into AutoZone, and taking care of them means having what they need when they need it. That means stocking a lot of parts for a lot of cars. Now, nobody can stock everything, but we stock more than most. And how do we know which ones to carry? That's easy. We listen to our customers, because nobody knows better about what you want than you. So the next time you walk through that door, you might think of yourself as a customer, but we think of you as the boss.
Nelson Piquet won the World Championship 3 times, most recently in 1987. His Williams teammate finished second in the points that year, Nigel Mansell. Nigel Mansell is with us again in this segment. You're one of the closest people we have in terms of Americans to rooting for in Formula One. You have a house down in Florida during the wintertime. Are you disappointed that the U.S. does not have a Grand Prix and that there are no U.S. drivers in this series?
Well, that's a loaded question, but I'll try my best to answer it. I mean, yes, of course I'm disappointed. I think America is an absolutely fantastic country. I'm a great fan of it. Obviously, buying a winter home there actually demonstrates that. I think because Formula One is the pinnacle of motorsport worldwide, because our circuit literally goes around the world, it's a shame that we haven't got Americans in it. But you got some great drivers in the Indy series, and I feel that Michael Andretti or Unser Jr could be coming to Formula One maybe shortly, and if they do, I certainly wish them all the very, very best. You know, I think the series that you've got is a very special series too.
One driver who did go from Formula One to Indy cars was Nelson Piquet, who had a very bad accident at Indianapolis this year. Do you think that his accident will discourage other Formula One drivers who are perhaps thinking about Indy from doing so?
Well, I think I'd be the first to admit that, I mean, your type of racing and certainly ovals is totally alien to what we're used to, and I think you become a specialist at it. But I mean, I think in one word, motor racing worldwide, whatever the formula, it doesn't have to be Indy or Formula One, is dangerous. You go more than 30 miles an hour, you can hurt yourself. But so I think if you're ultra professional, and I consider myself that, it wouldn't really discourage, but what it would do is make you more cautious, and you'd probably do your homework far more. And I think what happened to Nelson was very, very unfortunate.
Do you have any desire at this point in your career to try Indianapolis or Indy cars?
Well, that's a difficult question, and I don't really sort of want to give you any answer which might get you off in a different direction. I'm very, very focused on Formula One. I'm currently leading the World Championship, and my desire is to become the world champion in Formula One, and until such time I can't really focus or think about anything else, but it has possibilities, most definitely.
We wish you the best tomorrow and in your quest for the World Championship. I know it means a lot to you, and like I say, you know, you have a lot of American friends that are hoping that you can pull it off.
Well, I tell you, the American fans, and not necessarily the fans of Formula One, but the fans of car, I think you're tremendous, and I must compliment all of you and what you do over there. I'm an avid fan of what you do with your racing and your regulations, and make no mistake, I think you have a lot of very, very talented drivers and some great fans there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Mark.
Qualifying was held for the Grand Prix of Canada earlier today, and unfortunately, Nigel's string of 6 consecutive pole positions ended. Ayrton Senna is the only repeat winner at this track, driving to victory in 1988 and 90. Well, Nelson Piquet is out of the hospital, but he continues his rehabilitation in Indianapolis, and he has granted us his first network television interview. Derek Daly has the story.
One of the biggest rookie names to come here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for many years was that of 3 times Formula One world champion Nelson Piquet. During the first week's practice on a typical Thursday afternoon at about 2:35, Nelson lost control of his car. The ensuing impact left his dreams of competing at Indianapolis shattered, and the orthopedic injuries have changed his life forever.
And I come here to this place and make the physiotherapy all morning. We are here for about 2.5, 3 hours.
The skid marks we see here leave us with a memory of what happened. Nelson has no memories at all of what happened during that day. In fact, I don't think he has any regrets because he's had a glorious 20-year career. But you know, he always felt that something bad would happen to him at some stage.
I've always been very afraid, but it's something that you never run off. You know, I always been very afraid, but always been taking a lot of risk because I've been very competitive all my life and always taking a lot of risk. It's something that cannot stop us.
We all understood over here, particularly from the report that came out of England, that you had actually retired from F1 after your Benetton days. So why the decision to come to Indianapolis?
It was a different challenger, you know, it's a different category, it was a different race. You know, and it was a very famous race that we've been watching even when I was here in high school more than 20 years ago. And I got an offer from Menard, and I called Chiva, and I talked with Chiva. Chiva said, well, it's a good car, it's a good engine, you know, and I said, well, if you have a chance to run in the front, that's what I want, and that's the reason I came.
What's the immediate plans now?
Well, my plans now is getting well, and I was to do, I think, what's happened to me was very bad, but I think it was in the right place. I think I was very well taken care here in the hospital with all the doctors that took care of me. And now I go to do exactly what they tell me to do. I want to come out of this walking well, and that's my primary goal, to do everything possible to be well here.
Are you retired from racing now, or will you be back possibly to race again at Indy?
Well, I retire until the end of the year for sure, because my primary is to get well. For sure, I'll be racing afterward.
You will be racing afterward?
Yeah.
Bob Nelson is adapting remarkably well to his new lifestyle and to the new challenges that he now faces. But on the anniversary of his last win in Formula One, which was in Canada, Nelson had this message for his many friends up there with you this weekend.
Well, I want to say thank you very much. I think everybody sent a lot of fax and telegrams and a lot of telephone calls for me, and even the drivers sent a nice tape for me, and that's just, it's very nice to receive for those people that have been working for the last 20 years, and wait for me because I'm being back.
It's true, Philadelphia. The Springfield Auto Dealer's lowest price guarantee. Buy any Toyota, Lincoln, Mercury, Jeep, Eagle, Chrysler, or Plymouth. Find a lower advertised price within 72 hours. We'll refund the difference in cash. Any Ford, Chevrolet, Geo, Isuzu, Volkswagen, Lotus, or Mitsubishi. When one dealer group guarantees the lowest price on any new car, truck, or van, you have no reason to shop anywhere else. See a participating Springfield Auto Dealer today.
Every morning of the summer, there's a place where folks come just to get away. Bob Evans, your summer place, where we're serving up a new breakfast menu of the freshest taste of the season, where our chunks of fruit are so fresh you can even eat the bowl, and our new country skillet and fiesta skillet breakfasts are as warm as summer itself. Why don't you stop on by and get away for the summer?
Bob Evans, your summer place.
There's a storm brewing on ESPN. Saturday Night Thunder. It's a night of lightning-quick action featuring live USAC midgets and sprints. Saturday Night Thunder on ESPN. Some win, some lose, and some just crash and burn. But they'll all race all out. Don't miss the high-speed excitement of the Champion Spark Plug 500. Sunday afternoon live on ESPN.
Speedweek's travel arranged through Continental, taking off this summer to Mexico. No better beaches, no better time. Continental to Acapulco. One airline can make a difference.
Welcome back to Speed Week from Montreal. We've moved out to pit lane. Behind me, the crews continue to work on their cars in preparation for tomorrow's Grand Prix. The NASCAR Winston Cup Series moved to the West Coast for their one and only race last Sunday. The Save Mart Supermarkets 300 did very well in terms of attendance compared with other sporting events out there. Bob Kelly has a report.
This is California, right? The land of fun and sun, quiche and white wine. Big crowds are no big deal. You'd expect to see this kind of audience at a baseball or football game. But last Sunday, 83,000 people turned out in the beautiful Sonoma Valley to see a car race.
These people out here are hungry. They're hungry for some excitement, obviously. There's just nothing going on out here in these mountains, I don't guess. All they do is make wine, so I guess they found something that mixes well with their wine.
The only wine at this place was the wine of the engines. These supposedly sophisticated Californians came out to have a good time and cheer on their favorites.
Oh, I want Allison to win.
Oh, I'm a Bill Elliott fan.
Kyle Petty.
I'd like to see Richard Petty win. The Good Old Boys are a big hit in the Sonoma Hills. Believe it or not, this is the biggest crowd to watch a sporting event in this state since the New Year's Day Rose Bowl.
If you like excitement, this is exciting. It's a lot more exciting than standing watching a guy strike out 4 or 5 times in a ball game.
First pitch to Corey Snyder is taken for a strike.
The fans got what they wanted. In a sport dominated by the Southern boys, it was one of their own, Ernie Irvan, a native Californian, celebrating in Victory Lane. Maybe the South and the West aren't so different after all. At Sears Point International Raceway, this is Bob Kelly reporting for Speedweek.
The finishing order of that race really tightened up the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings. Despite his 28th place finish, Davey Allison maintains the lead, but by only 28 over Dale Earnhardt, who finished 6th. Bill Elliott is only 3 points behind Dale, and Harry Gant is only 1 behind Bill. Alan Kowicki is 5th in the standings, but only 83 behind Allison. And the series is at Pocono International Raceway this weekend for the Champion Spark Plug 500. And for a preview on that event, here's Benny Parsons. Benny?
Thanks, Bob. We're here at Pocono this weekend, and the topic of most conversations has been the passing last Sunday of NASCAR founder Bill France Sr. at the age of 82. Funeral services were held on Wednesday at the First Baptist Church in Daytona Beach, Florida, with hundreds in attendance to pay respect to the man that started the sport we all love so much. In 1934, Bill France Sr. arrived in Daytona with a reputation of being a good race car driver, but also with a vision of bringing order to the then chaotic world of stock car racing. The construction of Daytona International Speedway or the Talladega Superspeedway might be considered by some to be his greatest accomplishments, but he probably would say his greatest pride came as husband for over 60 years to Annie, who passed away earlier this year, and as the father to 2 successful sons, Jim, the president of International Speedway Corporation, and Bill France Jr., the president of NASCAR.
He was an extremely loyal person to those people that were loyal to him. And I guess you learn from Bill France, I use the word loyalty, and if you extend it, it's paid back.
It's really hard to imagine that one individual could have those kind of dreams and then make them come true, and many times against such great odds.
The NASCAR Winston Cup teams have made the trip back across America in preparation for tomorrow's Champion Spark Plug 500. And here's a look at the top qualifiers. Earlier today, the ARCA drivers competed in the Champion Battery 150. And here's a look at the results. Bob, with the way the points battle is tightening up, it will be interesting to see in tomorrow's race if Davey Allison can hold on to the Winston Cup points lead he has held since Daytona. See you tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Benny. The general manager of Atlanta Motor Speedway, Bob Markham, resigned earlier this week, saying it was time to pursue other opportunities. Meanwhile, a news conference is scheduled at that facility next Tuesday. At that time, track officials are expected to announce groundbreaking for a road course that they hope to have finished by the end of this year. And we'll have more Speedweek in just a moment from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada.
Speedweek's ground transportation arranged through General Rent-A-Car, the only company where you can earn a $50 U.S. savings bond with just 4 rentals of a quality Chrysler compact or larger car.
The Suzuki Katana 600. It cranks even before you turn it on.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
He's waiting about a car length and a half behind Al Jr. Al Jr. now lengthens it out. He's trying to hold him off. Goodyear low, Denver high. They go to more Bob Lanning. Unser Jr. has the lead. One more turn to go. Here they come. Coming to the finish line. Bob Jenkins, who's going to win? The checkered flag is out. Goodyear makes a move. Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second. Perhaps the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500.
This is not a polar bear in a snowstorm. This is not an x-ray of your ex-fiance's skull. No, this is all the money you need to put down on a new Suzuki Katana 750. But you'll have to hurry to your Suzuki dealer to see it.
Last weekend, the Indy cars were at Belle Isle Park in Detroit. The course was tight and there was plenty of action. Paul Tracy was impressive subbing for Rick Mears, making this daring pass of Michael Andretti for the lead. Later, Michael tried to duplicate the move, but the cars made contact, allowing third-place Bobby Rahal to overtake first position. Rahal held on to win, becoming the first repeat winner of '92. After the Detroit Grand Prix, Rahal, Michael Andretti, and others tested at Loudon, New Hampshire. They'll race there July 4th weekend. Meanwhile, in Albuquerque, Unser Jr. attended a parade and rally celebrating his recent Indy win. New Mexico's Governor Bruce King declared last Wednesday Unser and Gallus Craco Day in the state. Now here's a look at what's coming up on TV this weekend in our Air Force Reserve Air Times.
Around 1900, GMC Truck built America's first gasoline-powered truck and went on to make trucks our only business. A heritage of trucks that, some say, worked a little harder, lasted a little longer. And that's still true today in a truck that gives you the most standard payload and the strongest resale of any full-size pickup. Sierra, from GMC Truck, more proof of the strength of experience.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear tires. The championship-winning technology that's found in the Eagle and Wrangler tires that Goodyear races can also be found in the Eagle and Wrangler tires that Goodyear sells. The champions know, and it's why we say The best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Record-setting Nigel Mansell is having a dream season, but last year's Canadian Grand Prix was a nightmare. Leading on the final lap, his gearbox died. He tries to shift back into high Sunday night on ESPN.
Welcome back to the Isle of Notre Dame, on which the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is located. That's where the Canadian Grand Prix will be held tomorrow. Former three-time world champion Alain Prost is the winningest driver in Formula One with 44 victories. Now, he's setting out the 1992 campaign unable to come out with an agreement that would put him in a competitive ride. Among the active drivers, Ayrton Senna has the most with 34, and Nigel Mansell is third with 26. Now, those numbers seem small compared to the number of stock car victories that Richard Petty has amassed. Here's more on that in this week's Petty Memory with Dr. Jerry Punch.
This Richard Petty Memory is brought to you by the First Brands Corporation, makers of STP Son of a Gun Protectant. While most fans know his historic 200th career victory came at Daytona in 1984, many don't realize that Richard earned win number 100 at a unique site.
Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 1969, quarter-mile flat asphalt track around the football field. And, it was just a situation. We was running Fords. We ran Fords that one year, just in 69, and we won, I guess, 10, 11 races that year. But just, we was just running races and winning races and didn't think about 100 being that special. Nobody else had won but...
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun Protectant. Man, what a difference.
He's Stock Car Racing's all-time winner. He's Stock Car Racing's all-time most popular driver. He's the King, Richard Petty. In this new ESPN home video, The Ride of a Lifetime, Richard Petty and STP, you'll have the chance to come along with me, Dr. Jerry Punch, for a personal visit to Richard's home, and we'll show you classic video footage of Richard's greatest moments. To get your copy, call 1-800-342-3400.
Welcome back to Montreal, where we're getting set for tomorrow's Grand Prix of Canada. Now, our regular Formula One announcers, David Hobbs and Bob Varsha, are doing their homework, getting set for the telecast. Gentlemen, what can we expect in tomorrow's race?
Well, Bob, I hate to be a wet blanket about all this, and I'm sure His Eminence here will contradict me if he feels I deserve it, but I think I should point out that those 7 electric laps at the end of the race in Monaco, Senna holding off Mansell to the tune of about 0.2 of a second, were an aberration. There was something wrong with the Williams. Unless something like that happens here in Montreal, David, I think it's another Mansell kind of day.
Well, for once, Bob, I'm not going to argue with you. I think you're absolutely right. I think the Williams will rock it away. If you remember, this was the last time last year on the front row here, both Williams for the first time in 1991. And, of course, Nigel would have cleaned up, but he had that problem with his car on the very last lap, just back down the road here. Ron Dennis from McLaren said that anybody that counted McLaren out this year would be a fool. Well, I think Ron's being just a bit optimistic if he thinks he's going to win the championship this year, but they probably will win some races further on down the season. But there's more to a Formula One race than the race for the lead, and of course the man of the moment is Michael Schumacher, the young German. He's been absolutely electrifying. He was electrifying a couple of weeks ago in Monte Carlo. It's the first time he's ever been to Montreal, but then it's the first time he's at Monte Carlo as well.
Well, we'll all know within 24 hours whether Nigel Mansell can get back on the winning track. Our race airs at 12 a.m. Sunday night here on ESPN. Now let's move along to Indianapolis Raceway Park, where Gary Lee is standing by with a preview of tonight's edition of Saturday Night Thunder. Gary?
Thanks, Bob. Hi, everybody. The Thunder resumes tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time here on ESPN from Indianapolis Raceway Park with the USAC Loctite Sprint Cars. Jim Keeker tries to become the first driver in 30 years to win back-to-back sprint features here at IRP. He drives that Beast chassis with the V6 power plant. And speaking of that combination, midget standout Kenny Irwin debuts his new Beast V6 utilizing the short wheelbase, the 84-inch USAC minimum. The theory is keep them light, make them handle like a midget with the power of a sprint car. And speaking of oval track racing, it was just 1 week ago that 65-year-old Ralph Ligori became the oldest driver ever to win a USAC feature at the Indianapolis Speedrome. He won the midget and the feature. Well, you take care of business up there in Montreal, and we'll have the Thunder live for you this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll handle things here in Indianapolis.
Thanks, Gary, and that will do it for another edition of Speed Week. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 Eastern Time for the Champion Sparkplug 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race from Pocono International Raceway. And don't forget the Grand Prix of Canada at midnight Eastern Time tomorrow night. We leave you with scenes from the Jefferson Hill Climb in Pennsylvania. The winners in the 540cc division, Tim Frazier and Greg Williams, was a winner in the 800cc category. So long, everyone.
Speed Week.